Hey, so I'm Calvin with Blue Chip Decks, and today I wanted to go over some deck permit information. I did a video last week regarding the zoning and what kind of deck can fit in your property. Now I want to do a video regarding the documentation you need to be submitting to get your permit off the ground and get it started. It's a pretty confusing process. There's a lot of information that you have to do. It's a pretty complex process, so we'll just get into it right now, and hopefully I can make it as easy as possible for everyone to understand. So what I'm going to do is quickly share my screen. Okay, so now we're looking at just a folder with all these pre-arranged documents that I have. So you're going to need about 5 documents to do this. There's between 5 and 6 depending on what you're going to be doing and who's going to be doing the deck permit for you. So and depending also on the foundation you're going to be doing. So what I'll start with is I'm going to just start with the blank permit app. So application. So we're going to open this right here. So this is the first layer of information that you're going to need to fill out. So you can download this. This is the kind of application form here. It's not a permit as listed here. So you have to fill this out and submit it downtown at I believe it's 65 Gary Street. I'll show you the address on Google Earth at the end of the video. So this is the application form. So there's a contractor side and a homeowner side. So depending on who's filling it out, you're going to need to fill it out obviously according to whoever is doing the application. So this is pretty simple stuff that you can get. So you can just check off the box for the homeowner, and then these items here you can also check off. They're pretty self-explanatory. Just word of advice here for description of work. You don't have to be too detailed. Some people get into real crazy detail. Really all you have to put here is build deck, or just a very vague description. They accept that no problem. And then here is kind of a checklist of, this section is more just, they want to see if you have everything included. So you're not going to go down there to the permit office and pretty much just sit and wait in line and then just not have everything included. So we'll go through this list here. So owner statement is pretty much something that you're going to need if you're the contractor. So if you're having your deck built by someone, they're going to need an authorization letter. I have that in my notes there, so we'll look at that. You're going to need a survey of the property, which I have. We'll go through all this in a second. So just these are all the documents that we're going to need to go through. Construction drawings, so like a pile plan, framing plan, and then a copy, 2 copies of the wood deck checklist, and that's actually right here. So they want 2 copies of everything. When I go down there, sometimes they ask for 2 copies, sometimes they don't. I would bring 2 copies because they can be sticklers with stuff like this. So you want to be extremely diligent to make sure you have everything in line, because they will send you away, and sometimes you can wait up to an hour, 2 hours, even 3 hours just to get to see a permit tech to authorize, just to submit the permit, and that's without an authorization of the permit being approved. So you want to make sure you have everything included. Really make sure you read this carefully and you follow this video carefully so you know what you're doing. So here's the application form, and then this is the wood deck checklist. So this is kind of more of a piece of some paperwork that's going to just kind of explain to the tech kind of what you're doing. So the other one is more your contact information, and then here is more kind of the specifics of the deck. You should have this also. Most of this stuff should be outlined in your structural drawing. So this is going to be a little bit confusing, but obviously we do, for the most part, for our company, we're going to do screw piles, and it's got some different guidelines for screw piles depending on what you're using. So you'll need the manufacturer number, model number, and then it talks about different things that you might need. So obviously, like in the City of Winnipeg, you don't want to post anything beyond a beam like span of 8 feet. So if so, you'd have to do engineering requirements. So anything beyond the standard wood deck guidelines, which I'll get to as well. So the city has their own wood deck kind of guidelines, kind of like building code. So if you go further than those, or if you span greater than those and you infringe on those guidelines, you can get by them, but you just need an engineering seal. So and this takes a lot of time, the engineering seal. So and it's expensive. So it is always in your best interest to just follow the guidelines they have outlined. And if you can't, then you go for the engineering seal. So stuff like this is stuff you'll all need to fill out. So this is the first form you'll need. So 2 copies of this. Okay. The next one we'll go to is we're going to go to, let's see here. We'll go to the structural plan. So this is something you're going to need. This will have pretty much most of the stuff that's included in the wood deck checklist, so the second page that we just looked over. So right here you can see the piles. They're noted 6 feet apart. It shows the different, it shows the beam span between the ledger board and the beam, and it also shows in very specific detail the spans of the overhang of the beam past the pile, and then the spans between. I'm not going to go into detail of what all the rules are. For this, you'll have to do that work yourself. We do provide permit services for all of our clients. This is just kind of an educational video. So for that, you're going to have to do your own homework to figure out what your spans are and exactly how your pile layout is going to be. Okay, so structural drawings. We went through the permit application form. The structural drawing is number 2. We're going to go to site plan. So they're going to know, so when I did the first video, the zoning video, this is kind of more kind of speaking to that. So this zoning, you're going to need your site plan. So this would be like your house here, and then this would be kind of your backyard with it's got the measurements, so it's annotated, which is perfect. So it shows a 4-foot side yard, 4-foot side yard here, and it has a 44. You can see the arrow just barely there. 44 foot 1.5 inch backyard setback. So from the house to the back property line, and then it explains here as a 42-foot wide yard. So it's really handy to have this, and then all you have to really do to satisfy the city's requirements is to pencil your deck in, or pen, whatever you want, how you're going to draw it in here, and then quickly put the measurements of the deck. So this is a 12-foot deep by 14-foot wide deck. We got a 4-foot wide side yard measurement. We have a 24-foot wide side yard measurement here, and then this is the big one that they're really looking for, is the backyard setback. They want to see at least 25 feet between this back property line and then the edge of the deck. So these are important too, though. The 4-foot yard setback is important, but most people don't build decks beyond the side of their house. So these rules, of course, like if you watch the last video, they only really apply to decks over 2 feet. So we need to fall between 25 feet. We need to fall, we can't build beyond 25 feet of the back and 4 foot on the sides if we're over 2 feet of this deck, so in height. All right, so that's our third document, site plan with the deck added. Okay, and then the next one is going to be an elevation plan. So there's I've got 2 versions of this. So this one's a CAD drawing. So this one is going to show all the components of the deck on like a cutaway style view. So here it shows the beam, it shows the joists, it shows how the rail is put together, it shows the pile. So in our business, we use so Blue Chip, we use screw piles, and I'll quickly just pull up this here so you can see. To give an example, this is just our company pamphlet here. So this is a screw pile. So this is a much easier version for you to understand. So this is the top of the screw pile, and it's like a giant corkscrew, and it goes down 8 to 10 feet into the ground, and it supports the deck below the frost line. So this decides this helical kind of a corkscrew here, whatever you want to call it. This actually decides the size. This decides the rating, the weight rating. So generally we use 4,000 or 5,000 pound piles. So in this situation, we're using a 4,000 pound galvanized steel pile. These should be, and so here's the model number. A lot of times, okay, well, before I go to that, so this is the cutaway view. A lot of times when they see this and they see you have a Wilson pile, they're going to want you to also provide engineered plans for the pile if you don't have the serial number, and even if you do sometimes, so you should always get your engineered plans. So these are done by Beach Rock Engineering. So it details the gauge of the steel, all the details about the pile. So we use where is it? Which one are we using here? Okay, so in this drawing we're using the OW 4000-8, so that would be the product code, and then the brand would be Wilson. So in the first document, the wood deck checklist, this would be that code. I'll just go to it quickly, just to give you guys maximum understanding. So here, if you're using screw piles, which most people in Manitoba do, this is where they're going to want that manufacturer number and the brand. Okay, so that's good. And so this obviously has the engineering seal, and then all this documentation should go with your permit as well. They probably won't take this, but they'll just want to see it, and just, if you don't have it, again, they can send you away, and it's just a massive time waste. So I showed the first elevation plan, so you can also kind of scoop an elevation plan, a mock one from the wood deck handbook. So I'll go into the wood deck handbook in a minute. It's basically the literature that's provided on wood decks for the City of Winnipeg. So I kind of just used a snipping tool on Windows 10, and I just cut this image out, and then I just drew little lines. I think they're actually already on there, but I just drew these lines in and just annotated the parts of the railing and parts of the deck. So it's a very easy diagram for the people to understand, like the permit text to understand, so they know what you're submitting. So this is the fourth document, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, fourth document is the elevation plan. So this is just the second version of it. We have the two versions. We have the CAD version, which is our version. We could do the more professional route now because we have CAD for all of our drawings. But this is a good for homeowners or for people who are just getting started. You can reuse this template again and again and again. And oftentimes, if you are building lots of decks, you can reuse most of these details for the most part. So one last thing, this is for a wood deck and wood rail. It's going to differ if you are going to get a glass or a aluminum style railing. So you'll have to modify these to, this is for a glass rail, tempered glass, aluminum post, aluminum top cap. So you have to obviously modify this, and then there would be, in this situation, it's missing, but they will want you to put the height in here too. So make sure that's not missing. So if it's your deck's like 3 foot, 4 feet high, there should be a 4 foot in there. Believe in this one, it's in there. Is it not? Okay, well, it's not, but you do need the height measurement as well. They're going to want to see that in this drawing, so make sure you get it. You don't want to be sent away. Okay, so we've gone through those two. Okay, so one of the fifth drawing is you're going to want to also have a plan view of just the deck itself, just describing the location of the stairs, and then also the size of the deck. So in this situation, this is the house right here, and then this is just the single level deck, 12 foot deep by 14 foot wide. So that is our fifth piece of information. And the last one we're going to go over is going to be our owner statement. So this is more for contractors or for people who are taking permits out on other people's behalf. So if say you're building something for a family member and they can't do the permit, or you are a contractor and you're trying to figure out how to do this. So you'll need to download this owner statement. So you got to fill out the homeowner's details, their address. They have to initial all these boxes, and then they have to fill out this final form. So this will be obviously the person who owns the house, and then the applicant, which would be in our case myself or my business partner who would be filling this out, would fill out this final chunk, and then we would submit this, and it would be good to go. So this would be the sixth page. So obviously, as you can probably see, this is a pretty involved process. This is not easy at all to do. I get tons of people calling and complaining about how difficult this is because the city does not make this easy to build a simple wood deck. So if you're going to be doing this yourself, we do provide drawing services, but we don't provide permit services. So we can create drawings for you, but we cannot do the submission for you. We only do the submission if you bought the deck through us, then we take care of everything. So that's the only situation where we do the permit, is if we've actually one of our clients and we're building the deck, then we obviously take care of everything. Okay, so one of the other things I wanted to show you was quickly where you can get this information. So you can get this information kind of two places. So if you want to go to our website, that's a really good place to get started. So you can actually go to this button here on the desktop version. It's called Deck Tips, and then you click the Deck Permits tab. So this is a super good resource in explaining how to do this whole process. The video is going to be a really good addition to this as well, so me explaining this kind of piece by piece, but this is a really good read as well. I have a drawing here that actually shows you exactly where to go to submit your permit. So if this is Gary Street here, so where are we? Okay, Fort Street, Gary Street. So you're actually going to want to enter here. I usually enter by 65 Gary. So this is where this is the Red River or Assiniboine River's here. I believe that's the Assiniboine. I think it is. I'm pretty sure Assiniboine Avenue, Assiniboine River should be it. Okay, so you're going to want to park probably along the street here, and then you're going to go in these doors here. There's a kind of a big handicap door to go in. I'm going to show you a Google Earth version, and you'll go into here. There'll be this beautiful kind of like mall that you're going to go into, and it's this building, this kiosk number 2 right here in blue. So what you're going to do is when you get there, you're going to fill out a form, just quickly putting your name and address, and then they're going to give you a number, and you are going to sit there and wait until the number is called. It could be quite a while. It could be up to 2 hours before you see the permit tech. You'll be able to know how long it is based on how grumpy everyone around you looks and how many people are waiting in line. So that'll give you a really good idea. If no one's in there, then there's probably a good chance you're going to get in quickly. If everyone's pissed off and everyone's kind of sitting around with a big scowl on their face, you're probably going to be waiting a really long time. It's just the way it is. There's also a number up on the top left, I believe, on the exit that kind of tells you where you're at. Another thing to know is there's no Wi-Fi really in there, so maybe bring a book or something to read. Okay, so there's that, or they have really poor Wi-Fi. Okay, so this is the location. Now, if you want to go to get all the resources downloaded, like the application form and then access the wood deck handbook, you want to go to this link here. It's going to be right here under this this drawing. I also have it at the bottom in the resources section, so you can also hit it here. City of Winnipeg deck permits, same thing. All right. So this will be exactly what you need to see. So this is the planning, property, and development page, and it's going to have watch this little video maybe. It's going to explain to you just a few things about decks, and then here's what you want to see. So you want to, first thing to do is you want to, I mean, if you're a homeowner, you can download this. If you're buying a deck from us or working with us, you really don't need this information. But so deck brochure. So this is the wood deck handbook. So this is going to explain to you all the rules. It's a really it's actually a pretty good kind of read over. It's actually done pretty well for the most part. Here's that elevation drawing that you can snatch from this booklet, so you can use it very easily to you know, apply for your permit using this. And then it's going to go into all kinds of different details about, you know, different foundation types, span tables, beam spans. There's a joist span table in here as well, so you can figure out how far you can span stuff. So all this stuff is located in this drawing. There's going to be a lot of conflicting, and unfortunately, a lot of conflicting information with the permit text and this guide. It's just the way it is. I don't know why, but it's just the way it is. So don't always hold me to this. You have to, unfortunately, it's a bit of a battle, and it takes a lot of practice to get good at this. It's just the way it is. So there's the deck brochure, which is I call it the deck handbook. It's what it was called for a long time. And then the permit application form and checklist. So that's this form. It's been updated a little bit. So yeah, it's been updated actually a lot. So it doesn't look as childish. So this must have just happened. But anyway, so this will be all the stuff you need to, what you need to download and fill out to make sure you have all the information. Okay, we got that. And then this would be the owner's statement. If you needed to, if you're a contractor or if you're doing the deck permit for another person on their behalf. So I think that's everything. The last thing I'm going to go over is I'm going to just quickly open up Google Earth here. Okay, so I'm going to just quickly show you, Assiniboine River. See, I knew. Jeez. Don't even know my own city. All right, so here we're going to go. We're going to go downtown right here. I'll drop us in there. We're going to take a little ride. So yeah, this is where we want to be. If you don't spend much time downtown, this will be pretty easy to understand. This will be pretty easy to find. Parking is actually pretty good around here. There's a parking lot kind of over there on Assiniboine Avenue. I used to live right down here, so that's why I know a lot about this place. So 65 Gary Street, this is that entrance I was telling you about. This is the best way to get in there. So you're going to want to go in there, take the hallway straight forward. You're going to go into the main kind of mall area, and you take a left, and then you can't really miss it. There's only really one. There's a few weird stores in there. There's an art gallery, and then there's obviously the permit office where you'll have to go and fill out your kind of name and information. You really can't miss it. So it kind of looks like a kiosk though at first. So you have to just kind of maybe, it's on the main floor though, so you have to just kind of walk around. Anyway, so I think that's everything. Let me just see quick if I got everything. Got site plan, structural plan. Yeah, so I think that's all. So if you have any questions, just send me an email or just go visit us on our website. Like I said, like many times, we do all the permit work for our clients, so really they don't have to concern themselves too much about this. This is just for information for people who maybe are just a little curious and who want to know a little bit about the process and how complicated it is. It also is for our clients who just want to know how complicated it is to actually do a permit and how much work we have to go through to actually get these things submitted. The permit process, just for people who are wondering, it can take anywhere from a week to 4 weeks plus. There's no real timeline on the permit. And one last thing, there's an online submission form that you can try to use, but I'm going to just tell you, as of today, which is June 8th, 2021, it's pretty much a failed system. It does not work. If you submit online right now, you are going to be just waiting, and there's no guarantee you're going to be have any confirmation. So you can try it, but the best way that we've always found that works the best is to just drop it off in person. Right now it's obviously COVID, so I think it's a little bit different right now, but for the most part, dropping it off in person is the fastest and easiest way. It's easiest way to make sure that you got all your information submitted, and it is for sure submitted. When it's online, sadly, they don't really give a good confirmation method just yet, so they're still, I think, kind of working on that. The last thing is if you want to check us out, the best place to go is Instagram, Facebook, or of course you can obviously check us out on YouTube. And you can also go to our website at www.bluechipdecks. And everyone have a nice night and enjoy. Bye.